Content warnings for this episode may include fantasy violence, combat, blood, grief, memory loss, and death of loved ones. $62,749 years. 299 days, 13 hours, and 2 minutes before the Chosen One dies. The hands of fate convene in front of the statue of the Chosen One. The Hall of Heroes looks how it always looks. Infinite, vaulted, a conglomeration of marble and gold and ivory and glass and stars. Artemis, you stand in front of a statue of Abina, a life-sized sculpture that captures her likeness in perfect detail. The broad shoulders, the twin braids, the robes of woven kente cloth, the shield, the spear, the eyes of lucent pink. The statue looks exactly like Abina. It looks nothing like Abina. Lucy stands beside you, gazing upon the former Chosen One with an inscrutable expression. Abina, of course, had led the revelry. Lucy's very own strike team and the patron saint of monsters had been closest to the Chosen One out of all the hands of fate. Lucy's hair is a wild obsidian mane that travels all the way to the floor, dragging behind them like a black flag, but never getting dirty. Black strands cover the magenta curves of their bare chest. They wear a pair of silk trousers and very little else. And without looking away from Abina's likeness, Lucy addresses you. It's just about time, isn't it? For our current Chosen. And tell me, Artemis, what do you look like as you gaze upon Abina's statue? There's something old and radiant to Artemis. Especially here, especially now. Their gold eyes are locked on Abina. But their mind is elsewhere. It's in the past. It's very often in the past. Especially here, especially now. They look somber. They look serious. They look unflappable. There are lines under their eyes. Bags from not having slept in who knows how long. They don't need to sleep. There's muscle. There are thick reams of fat. And now Artemis wears a robe with no sleeves, cinched at the waist, and long, solid cloth trousers. They stare upon the statue and nod. You must be getting close. You can feel it too, can't you? You've been able to feel it ever since you got inducted. The Prime Oracle is about to birth a new prophecy, a new edict, a strike team assignment for Pham Vong Meo. Yes. It's heavy, that one. And despite Lucy's unflappable expression, you of all people know that something is troubling them. As they gaze upon the statue of Abina, Abina had been theirs. All of yours, of course, but really, theirs. Artemis doesn't look sideways at Lucy the way they long to. They don't let their eyes drift away from Abina's beautiful, bright pink eyes. Their gaze stays locked with the statue as the silence grows heavy and thick like a river of blood between them. Until they say, "It wasn't your fault, Lucy." You don't know what it's like, Artemis, to have one that was yours, and to lose them. It's the way of the journey. It is what it is. Fate has her designs. It's for the betterment of the multiverse, and Abina died for a cause she believed in, but still, I cannot help but weep and rage.
So weep and rage. Is that not what you told me when I first arrived?
Those words exactly. I see you've internalized them well. Or maybe you've just learned to hide it. You're very different from the person you used to be all those thousands of years ago.
I was unwell.
You're well now.
I'm situated. I'm acclimated. And I'm ready. You see?
You. Ready. Finally.
I've been ready for some time now.
At first I thought you were afraid to get your hands dirty. But that's not it, is it?
And finally, I think Artemis looks sideways at Lucy, a little half glance down at her.
She's been looking at you this entire time.
Are you psychoanalyzing me again?
No. Oh, and as much as I would have liked to, I couldn't even read your mind if I tried. Call it a special defense mechanism we patron saints have against each other. But what are you really thinking, Artemis? Why now?
You already said. I don't know what it's like. There are very few experiences left in this journey that are unknown to me.
I see. Well, be careful what you wish for. Had I been in your position, I might have wanted to stay a greenhorn for... And then Wuyin arrives. His voice heralds his appearance. It's booming, it's bright, it's confident, it fills the entire hall of heroes. And as Wuyin approaches the two of you, we see a patron saint who looks exactly the same. He always looks the same. The bright, booming armor, the done-up hair, the striking smile that can charm the scales right off the back of a snake. Lucy! Artemis! I had a feeling I'd find the two of you here.
Wuyin, just in time.
Yes, indeed, just in time. I assume the two of you are feeling it as well? The Prime Oracle?
Yes, our chosen one is receiving their prophecy very soon.
Yes, soon they'll receive their strike team assignment, and soon we'll see who they belong to. Woo! What an exciting time, don't you agree?
And Artemis casts a sidelong look at Lucy for half a moment, who does not seem very excited at all, and nods. Very exciting.
All right then, I've got a good feeling about this one. Ready?
Let's play.
And Wuyin, Lucy, and you hold your hands up in rock, paper, scissors, shoot formation with a fist on top of your open palm, because this is a tradition for the Hands of Fate. A ritual, one might say. Every time the patron saints feel the tug of prophecy from the Prime Oracle, before the Chosen One is given their strike team assignment, the three of you play a game. And more often than not, the winner of that game ends up having the Chosen One on one of their strike teams. Wuyin is basically bursting at the seams. Alright, let's just cut to the chase. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! And here's the thing about Rock, Paper, Scissors Prime Oracle, is that the three patron saints, you are so in tune with each other. The three of you can intuit what the other two want at a given time. And right now, Wuyin's intentions are really clear. He missed Abina. He does not want to miss Meo. He wants to be the mentor for Fam Fong Meo. And Lucy, as Wuyin throws a rock out, casually throws out a pair of scissors. Because she had a Bina, and she's still recovering from that. She's no horse in this race. And you, Artemis, what do you throw out?
Artemis briefly considers throwing out scissors, returning to the easy and gentle hum of patience, of waiting, of watching. Again and again and again. Patience. Step back, watch, wait, look. See what the forest is doing before you move your feet. Look at what's happening around you before you move, Artemis. Always on the lookout, Artemis. Always watching, always waiting. Why don't you do anything, Artemis? And that's the little push. They consider scissors, but they throw rock. The shape of a circle. The shape of destiny.
The shape of a moon. And as the two rocks fly out, and the scissors as well, Wuyin lets out a big smile as he sees what Lucy throws out, and then the smile freezes when he sees the other rock. This has never happened before. There have only ever been winners and losers in this game of 3. 2 losers, 1 winner. And as Lucy lets out a small smirk and lowers her hands, ceding the floor to the two of you, Wuyin turns to you with wide eyes. What? A draw? A draw? What does that mean?
Will you look at that? A draw.
Huh. Artemis. Oh, wait, don't tell me you're finally ready. It's been thousands of years, and you've not once you haven't, I've never felt. Is it true?
I don't do anything on accident, Wuyin.
Huh. Whoa, I must say, little sister, I'm proud of you.
I told you not to call me that.
Sorry, old habits die hard, but, we're running into a little bit of a conundrum because I really like Fambol Mayo.
Yes. And I think that Mayo would bloom into their destiny under my guidance. They're a prolific hunter, Wuyin.
They are. I've seen the way they handle that falchion, but they're also such the embodiment of a hero. They're so compassionate, they're so generous and kind and courageous, brave, inquisitive, and smart. I think they would prosper under either one of us. But I'm not ready to back down just yet.
Well, in another life I might have dueled you for the honor.
Why not? And Wuyin's gaze snaps toward Lucy. Wuyin's right. A draw has never happened before. Even before you joined our ranks, Artemis. There's always been a winner and there's always been a loser. So, why not settle this with a duel? A language both of you know quite well. But, Lucy? That would hardly be fair.
Why not?
It's just, well, fighting is my whole thing. Being a hero, stepping in front of combat into the fray of warfare. Being a punter is more your thing. If you suggested a hunting competition, I'd say that was skewed in your favor.
Fate chose all 3 of us for a reason, Wuyin.
That's true, of course, she never makes mistakes.
I would be happy to face you in a sparring arena.
Huh. Okay then. If you say so, I will certainly not refuse you. I hope you bring your A game though, because I'm not going to take it easy on you, just because you're the newest of us.
I wouldn't dream of it.
And then Wuyin really excitedly claps his hands together. Woo, I'm so excited! Oh, I'll make a whole party out of it. I'll invite the entire Syndicate, as many people can fit into sparring arena, eh? Well, at the very least, we need the Chosen One and their friends and all the other strike teams, and everyone's gonna come. We have to invite everyone. Open door policy. That's not what an open door policy means. I'll see you in 8 hours! And Wuyin, shakes his hands excitedly and then turns and strides out of the Hall of Heroes.
How did I know he was gonna make a party out of it?
Oh, you should never underestimate Wuyin's appetite for a celebration. Any opportunity, he'll throw a party. A birthday party, funeral party, anniversary party, a new pet party.
And you will never turn down the opportunity for bloodshed. What have you gotten me into now, Lucy?
Nothing you can't get out of.
Fine.
No. And Lucy takes a step towards you, closing the distance. Are you going to let her out?
I don't know what you're talking about, Lucy.
Oh, don't play coy with me, Artemis. It's been so long. Over 100,000 years.
That woman is dead, Lucy.
Don't be silly, Artemis. None of us can die unless fate wills it.
You'll get your bloodshed.
And I hope you get your chosen.
And Artemis turns and looks at Abina again. Shoulders, braids, eyes, faded eyes. I'll see you there.
And we pull to black. And when we open up on the scene again, we see the sparring hall. Sparring Hall A, to be exact. There is a massive sand pit in the center of this arena, and a vast steepled ceiling with tessellated windows that refract rainbow light from a cosmos beyond mortal comprehension. And there are a ton of people here. Wuyin has spent the 8 hours spreading the news, gathering attendees, gathering audiences, gathering fans. Everyone is eager to see the patron saints duke it out. And amidst the buzzing and the whispering and the murmuring and the excited chattering, we see Fam Vong Meo, the chosen one. They are a small, slight person, all things considered, barely 5 feet tall, and very curious and dexterous. And underneath their loose and flowing robes, we see thick reams of muscle and fat as well. And they're smiling. And when they smile, we see that their teeth are blackened. And just like Abina, and every chosen one before her and every chosen one after, their eyes are a bright, faded pink. Strapped to their waist is a tu nao, a Vietnamese-style falchion. And their arms are crossed, they are sitting in their seat, and they're basically bouncing up and down excitedly, looking between the two hands of fate, standing in the center of the sand pit. Wuyin is always decked in armor, so he didn't have to change for this occasion necessarily, except he does wield in one hand his perfectly polished, beautifully crafted, immaculate jade Guandao Tinglong. And you stand across from him. Between the two of you is Lucy, the adjudicator. Have you changed clothes or gathered any weapons for this fight?
Artemis doesn't carry weapons. I don't think anyone in the Syndicate has seen them wield anything other than the occasional letter opener, or a small hunting knife here or there if somebody needs help cutting rope, some such other thing. Right now, they seem to have picked up a plain spear from the training hall, a leaf-tipped spear, lightweight and maneuverable. Much smaller than the Guandao that Wuyin is currently wielding, but polearm nonetheless. And they're leaning on it for a moment as they're adjusting. They've taken off that vest, so they're just wearing a strip of fabric across their torso, along with that sash and trousers. They have tightened up their boots and have almost tied cloth around their pant leg to keep everything together and tucked in. Other than that, they've not changed. Perhaps they went to their office to shave their head down again. So the tattoo on the back of their head is clear, bright, magnificently inked.
Artemis, is that just a training room spear?
Yes? Why?
Do you need to borrow anything from my personal armory? I wouldn't mind lending one of my legendary armaments to you.
No need.
Okay, if you say so. You know, one blow from Ting Long and that thing's snapping in two.
We'll see.
Lucy claps her hands together with a big smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes, but reaches somewhere even deeper than that, and the entire arena quiets down, shushes. And she says, "All right, Artemis, Wuyin, I want a good, clean fight, okay? The terms are simple. The first to draw blood wins. No hits above the clavicle or below the sacrum. Are we ready?" "Ready!"
Ready.
"Very well. Then 16 paces turn and begin. 1,
Artemis
2,
turns.
3,
They walk the paces, and
7,
something comes through them.
11,
Focus, but they often push down the other
13,
side of patience.
14,
Violence,
16.
and they turn.
Fight. And Wuyin moves first. He rushes forward, an unstoppable force of armor, divinity, heroism, blade. He swings Ting Long forward in a single raking slash, whoosh, aimed right towards your chest.
Artemis sidesteps it. They don't parry, they don't bring that training weapon up, they just sweep back as though they were in a dance, in a duet. They let Wuyin come to them, and it's barely constrained. The patience is so focused and so central. They're listening to him. They're watching the way his feet falls. Watching, watching, watching. Always watching, Artemis, aren't you? And they step out of the way, and they let him come again.
Shing! He uses the momentum without missing a beat to swing his entire body around and try to hit you on the other side of your chest.
And again, out of the way. This time, like, a little bit more athletically, because Wuyin moves so fast and with such precision and such deadly force. And Artemis picks up and over and lets Wuyin come in again.
He spins the Guandao this time and then jabs it forward.
And I think this time Artemis is forced to actually bend their entire upper body back as the Guandao comes up and over their face. And they, like, lift and come back, and this time they slash down and forward just once to give themselves some space.
Yes, as you slash forward with the spear, he parries. He doesn't dodge. He uses the blunt end of the shaft to, like, parry it, knock it out of the way. He is a mountain, and then spins the Guandao so the blunt end is pointed toward you. He's trying to hit you in the sternum with it, knock the wind out of you.
Artemis raises their opposite leg and catches it with their the soft part of their shin.
Ooh.
Which hurts a little. They could feel the vibration, but it only seeks to awaken something inside of them. It only lights up their nervous system in ways that sitting at the desk doing paperwork does not. They catch it. They feel the vibration through them. Inhale, and the dance continues.
Yes, I think, if I may, that blow pushes you back. It creates space between the two of you. And we see like a line of dirt and dust kick up behind you. And Wuyin, undeterred, spins his Guandao up into the air, tosses it, lifts his leg, and kicks the butt end of the Guandao towards you, firing it through the air like a projectile.
And Artemis has to dive out of the way this time. I think they, like, see it coming forward. He's really not giving them any space, any quarry, any time. He wants to get this over and done with very quickly. And Artemis dives out of the way, rolls, picks the spear back up because they know that Guandao is going to go right back into his hand. And I think there's a little smile as sweat starts to bead at the corners of their face. And Artemis says to him, in this space between space, this time between time, in this fight, in this dance, you really want to get this over with, Wuyin, don't you? Don't you want to put on a demonstration?
I said I wasn't gonna hold back, Artemis. I'm not treating you just like an inexperienced newbie. We're equals, so I'm not gonna pull my punches. He holds out a hand, and just like you anticipated, the Guandao flies back into it in a flurry of jade. And then he's on you again.
And Artemis plays prey for a little while. They play parry, they play dodge, they play defense. They play defense first and foremost, just to see, just to wait, just to get started. And then, slowly, they start fighting back. Those dodges become parries, those parries become stabs of their own as they start to move in and put more muscle and more force behind their blows. Something starts to creep up in the back of their mind. That power, that ability, that patience, that violence, always watching, never doing, right? Always watching. And Artemis thrusts forward as hard as they can, their arm rippling with muscle and power as their hand comes down, almost grazing the top of Wuyin's knuckles, as though they were going to stab the Guandao out of his hand.
Wuyin's eyebrows raise, and he reflexively, with millennia of practice and training, brings the Guandao down and lifts his forearm such that the jab actually goes against the armor of his gauntlet, and it kind of goes wide against the scale. If he had been unarmored, you would have drawn blood. And it kind of goes shing, and he just goes, oh, should have taken a legendary weapon there, and then spins the Guandao around and rakes at your feet.
Artemis jumps up, I think, at the same time that they push the blunt end, which is interesting because they're not even, this attack isn't even meant to draw blood, it's just meant to create space, and they, I think, even push off of him a little bit as they flip back as Ta does that sweep again at their feet. I don't need a legendary weapon, Wuyin. I could fight you with anything. That's the point.
What, even your bare fists?
Yes, even my bare fists. And Artemis plants the sharp end of the spear down into the sand for a moment, and then brandishes their fists.
Artemis? If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were the one holding back against me. Come on! I'm giving you a show, not just a show. I'm being earnest against you. Fight with blood, fight with fury, fight like you're trying to win!
There is a tipping point to Artemis. His words goad her. She stepped into this arena with the desire to win. Yes, they do want to mentor Mayo. They do want to win. Oh. But there is a point of no return that they cannot cross. They cannot truly let that show let it out, or there would be hell to pay. They don't know if they could stop. And the instinct rises within them like an animal, like a bear gnashing its teeth against a trap, bone against metal, against iron, against flint, against steel, against stone. And something on the inside of Artemis surges. Her eyes light up in a way that they haven't in a couple 100,000 years, and I think Wuyin sees it for just a second. The early days when Artemis first arrived at the Syndicate, that flares in her eyes just for a moment, that intensity, before they quash it down. They take the spear and they smile. I'm not holding back, Wuyin.
Okay. And that flicker of doubt flashes across Wuyin's eyes. They'd seen it. They'd seen the glimpse into the early days that you shattered open, but then it closed up. He doubts himself, and then he believes you. Oh, of course they're not holding back right now. Of course, this is everything you're giving him, everything you're flinging at him. And on the sidelines, Lucy, as you cracked open for just a split second in a way only the patron saints could catch, licks her lips. And then Wuyin says, huh, then let's end this! And he rushes towards you.
And it becomes very clear to Artemis that this is a losing battle. They can parry, they can dodge, they can dance, they can play patience, but they cannot play violence. Even their attacks are measured, are controlled, are specific, are humble, are mortal. They cannot be anything else, or they may not be able to stop. But Wuyin, he's not holding back.
No. So tell me, Artemis, where does that blade draw blood?
Across their collarbone.
It's a shallow cut. Definitely not enough to truly hurt you or inflict a grievous injury, but it is enough to open up a line of crimson right above that wrap of yours. And as he flings his jade guandao off to the side with a flurry and then plants the blunt end into the ground, you see your own blood wick against the ground. He's panting a little. Well done, Artemis! As Lucy says, and the winner is Wuyin, and the entire arena erupts into cheers.
As the cheer goes up, Artemis's head is down, looking at that fine bead of blood rising across their chest, and that is when it's hardest. That is where it becomes most difficult, and there is a flash, a memory of somewhere like this, an arena like this, a situation like this. Artemis, weaponless, looking down at a bead of blood on their chest, and screaming. The scream doesn't escape them this time. They push back their hair. They don't have any. Their hand travels along the top of their head as they control themselves. Let him win. This time. For everyone's sake.
And Wuyin, to his credit, or perhaps to your frustration, is not a sore winner. Instead of waving at the crowd or working his victory, he turns to you with a small, humble smile and holds out a hand. Well fought.
Well fought, Wuyin. And Artemis takes his hand and crushes the urge to break his bones.
And you shake. Wuyin doesn't notice the urge. He never really notices the urge unless you show it for him. And as you release his grip, he turns to the sea of adoring fans and Syndicate agents who begin to swarm the two of you. And everyone starts crowding him and actually starting to shut you out a little bit. You're not unpopular per se. None of the patron saints are unpopular. You're just underestimated. The least thought about. The least talked about. Lucy is also avoided, but that's out of fear and respect and some awe. You're just overlooked.
That's fine. I think it would probably be best if I took my leave. Artemis spends the necessary amount of minutes, hours even, at this gathering, at this function. They won't be seen leaving early, that's for sure. Certainly not a sore loser. Artemis compliments Wuyin, says everything that they're meant to say at anything like this, gives a few lessons to agents who are particularly perceptive or interested. They nod along where they're supposed to nod along. Stand thoughtfully on the outskirts where they're supposed to stand thoughtfully on the outskirts. And eventually they excuse themselves with the excuse of getting some rest in after such a demonstration. And they go to the one place where this might fade for them. They go to the grove.
Artemis, what is the main thing that is significantly different about the sacred grove 60,000 years ago?
there are more footprints in the sand. Artemis goes there more often. Perhaps even a small bit of layers and layers of fabric, a pillow, even a hand-sewn woven basket with different flowers and herbs inside. They spend a lot of time here.
And so you contemplate everything that's happened in the grove. Fight. Letting those emotions wash away, wash over you. And we find you at the edge of the waterfall. That crystal clear lake. The sunlight. The beautiful golden sunlight. The rays of the setting dawn. Streaming through the gaps in the branches above your head. As warm as a brother's embrace on your shoulders.
Artemis thumbs over the place where Wuyin's Guandao had slashed at them. It's already healed. They barely bled more than a few drops before it was healed. No. Not that easy to hurt the saint. And then lower to 3 old scars. Before pulling themselves up out of the water. A lesson they should always learn. They need to push it down. They need to push it down and just wait a little longer. Always watching. Always waiting. Remote and far away, like the moon. That's who they need to be right now. That's the choice they make right now.
You return to your office when one of the suns in one of the planes that Trans exists above and beneath sets. It's the sun that is outside your office window that overlooks your sacred grove. When you step back into your abode of furnished wood and hide and natural light, you find Lucy sitting in your chair behind your desk as you phase through the glass. Hello, Artemis.
Letting yourself into my office now, I see.
Why did you let him win?
Cutting right to the bone, aren't you?
Oh, my apologies. Did you want to beat around the bush a little bit more with some small talk? She stands from your chair and strides around the desk, leaning against the edge of it to face you.
I didn't let him win, Lucy. Artemis lies.
And Lucy pauses, because you both know what she's considering in the silence, which is whether or not she should press you on the lie. My mistake. Obviously not. He fights well, always has.
Always has.
A monster hunter of his own right.
Perhaps I would like to see you two get in the ring one day.
Oh, please. As much as Wuyin can sometimes, often annoy me and get on my nerves, I have no intentions of getting in the ring against that man.
Did you ever think it odd when you... And in the privacy of their office with just Lucy, with the waters of the grove still dripping down their throat, their chest, their arms, their scalp. The word hiccups in Artemis, the length of it, the intention of it, the question of it, the doubt of it holds on them. Did you ever think it odd that fate chose a monster and a hero to lead her journey?
Odd. That precept is nothing if not odd. Full of their own idiosyncrasies and particularities. No, I never found it odd, I found it fitting. Well, Wuyin was the first, because of course he was. Her perfect, golden child. The jade weapon.
The first chosen one.
Yes. But then I like to think that fate got a little more curious, a little more interested in different kinds of stories, different forms of destinies. You know I owe her a great debt, Artemis, for what she did to me, did for me.
Artemis only inclines their head. To put words to it would subtract from its weight.
I am a little disappointed, though. Even though you didn't let him win, I was hoping to see a little bit of monstrosity today, I suppose. But oh well.
Is it not a monstrous thing to see two saints in battle?
You weren't truly in battle, you and Wuyin both know this. It was a demonstration for the children.
Even so.
No, that is not the monstrous thing. Because if we were to ever truly fight each other, nothing and no one would be spared.
I demonstrated, Lucy.
You demonstrated well.
And where do you think I fit in? I remember how surprised you both were when she brought me.
Surprised is a little bit of an understatement, Artemis. I was downright shocked. I think Wuyin was flabbergasted.
Did you find that odd?
I found it fitting. Wuyin, on the other hand, was very distressed, as you recall. Can you recall? How much of that time do you recall, really?
A wall comes up in Artemis. They don't answer.
Well, distressed as he wasn't so much against it. He's never against anything fate decrees or introduces. But I think he was scared. I could taste it. There was fear in him that I've not tasted before, and I've not tasted since.
You're being kind to me. To try to make me feel better in my loss.
I could say the same to you about Abina. Something you need to hear. Yes, you struck terror. You still can. But more than that, this is your home.
Yes, it is.
What's done is done, Artemis. You say, that woman is dead. Maybe, maybe not. I saved that world is dead. Doesn't do anyone any favors to linger on it. That way lies only sorrow.
Artemis makes another choice. You're right. Sometimes I get a bone in my teeth. Sometimes I pick up a scent, and I can't help but follow. Mayo will do well under Wuyin's guidance.
They will. They would have done well under yours, too. But you've always got the next chosen one. Now that you're ready. Now that you want to.
You will too.
I am all set for a few more cycles. Let Wuyin have Mayo, let you have the next. As for the one after that, who knows? Maybe the sting of Abina will. Well, that's neither here nor there.
Artemis crosses the undrawn line in the room between them, puts their hand on the desk next to Lucy's, leans over her a little bit, just the sheer height. It wasn't your fault, Lucy.
Then why don't you kiss me like you mean it?
And Artemis leans down.
And a few moments later, there is a polite knock at the door. Not one you recognize. Not one Lucy recognizes either.
Artemis pauses. Are you expecting someone?
This is your office. I should be asking you that question.
You were sitting at my desk. And Artemis pushes off and goes over to the door, checks once over their shoulder just to be sure before opening it.
Lucy is gone when you look back. And when you look back forward and open the door, you see Mayo standing outside your office. Head quirked up at you. You are much taller than them, hands clasped politely in front of their waist. Patron saint.
Mayo, I wasn't expecting you.
They blink up at you with those bright pink eyes. I hope I wasn't interrupting anything. I was wondering if I could talk with you.
Certainly. My office is always open to you. Come in.
And Mayo strides inside. As you close the door behind them, they take a beat to take in your office. This is their first time being in here since they came to the Syndicate. And their eyes travel over every fixture with deep interest, and you see their eyes linger on the hidden places, the special access points to the grove that no one is supposed to be able to sense aside from those touched by fate, really. So their eyes hiccup over those unseen places and then go back to the desk.
How can I help you?
Well, I just wanted to thank you, I suppose, for being interested in me in the first place. Han Wuyin didn't divulge anything, but I had a hunch that the duel wasn't just a demonstration, and maybe I was at stake.
You are quite astute.
I don't know if the outcome of that fight did anything to persuade the Prime Oracle, but then again, I don't really know how the Prime Oracle works. Do you?
Yes and no. We have our own idiosyncrasies, superstitions, and we have our own hand in the fate of the journey. Sometimes all you need to do is speak your desire into the world.
And fate listens? I had a feeling. You know, speaking of feelings, I really thought you were going to win.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. Just a gut instinct.
no matter the outcome, you will do very well in whatever strike team you're placed with.
I hope so. Everyone calling me the chosen, showing me such love and family and community and respect. It's a lot to take in, to be sure. But this place feels like home, the same way Lei did. It's funny. I guess why a part of me thought you were going to win is because, well, back home I really wasn't anyone special. I wasn't a hero, certainly wasn't a monster. I was just a person. Well, until fate chose me. Maybe that's why I was rooting for you.
You will always be immortal. Always. That is part of you now. Fate is part of you now. So you are a hero. You are a monster. You are immortal. Just as we all are. And perhaps it's for the best. You have already been mortal. Now you learn what it means to be a hero. But my office will always be open to you if you need a reminder of where it is you came from. And what can be learned from simply listening to your...
And we're gonna end the session there.